Hello? Now, question 6 says that in the diagram we have AC is the diameter of the circle with center O. What I could pick up from that first point is that B1 will be equal to 90 degrees, so will B2. And point 2 says B is a point on the circle, and we can see that. And AB is produced to D, so that DC is a tangent to the circle at C. Now, immediately when they say CD is a tangent, they're telling us that AC will be perpendicular to CD, that is diameter or radius perpendicular to tangent. At the same time, they're telling you that the angle between the tangent and the chord will be equal to the angle that is subtended by the same chord that created the angle between the tangent and the chord. So when you look at this chord here, it subtends an angle at the opposite circumference. So that angle will be equal to the angle that is created by the same chord. But that angle will be the one between the tangent and the chord. Hence, note that angle C2 will be equal to angle A, because angle A is subtended by the chord that created angle C2. We're good. Then they told that AB is equals to 5 and BD is equal to 4. Great. Then they tell us that C2 is X, which means that A will also be equal to X. Done. Now I can just complete the sentence by saying that C1 will be 90 degrees minus X, and angle D will also be equal to 90 degrees minus X. The first question wants us to calculate the value of A. And you can tell that A will be equal to X, that is 10 chord theorem. Now we need to prove that A, well, it's CBD, all right? CBD will be this angle here. We need to prove that CBD, this angle here, is similar to ACD. It is similar to ACD. For similarity purposes, you need to remember this. I don't know why, ever since I started with this geometry and teaching, making videos, when it comes to maths, it always takes me back to grade 10. And this is the last time I taught geometry. I taught it in grade 10, and I think that was my last class. And I remember telling them what properties need to be met for us to say that two polygons are similar. And these are the properties, and I just thought, oh, let me just start with those properties. Now, a triangle to be similar, the following conditions must be met. It's either the triangles must be equiangular, meaning that all the angles in one triangle must be equal to all the other angles in the other triangle. At the same time, if the sides of the triangle are in proportion, then we can conclude that if one of these two conditions is met, then we can conclude that the two triangles are similar. Obviously, the proportionality part will be a little bit tricky here, but when you look at these two triangles, this is what you can prove. I have also made you aware that B2 will be equals to C1 plus C2. And you can tell from that because it is in the diagram. It is in the diagram. B2 will be 90 and C2 plus C1 will also be 90. And I did explain why. Okay, B2 will be 90 because B1 is 90. When you add B1 and B2, they will give you 90. I think that is obvious. And that was diameter subtending the angle at the circumference. And C2 and C1 will be 90 because the diameter will be perpendicular to the tangent of the graph at the point that is at the circumference. Okay, and that's what I started with. Now, I have proved so far that in the small triangle, this will be equal to this, which is triangle ACD. And at the same time, I can tell that in this small triangle, angle C2 will be equal to angle A. And obviously, angle D is common between those two angles. And I think that's all I need to prove that all the angles in the smaller triangle, which is your CBD, will be equal to all the angles in the bigger triangle, which is ACD. Therefore, these two triangles are equiangular. That's why I can say triangle CBD and triangle ACD are similar. That is because they're equiangular. Okay. Now, by being similar, this is what I can conclude. If I take CB and I divide it by AC, I will get the same proportion as when I take CD and I divide it by, when I take BD and I divide it by CD, and when I take CD and I divide it by AD. I'm going to substitute the numbers and fill out the side that is required because they want me to calculate CD. And you will notice that only the last two ratios have CD. So I will just focus on this last two ratios and solve for CD. To solve for CD, I will multiply both sides by CD just to get rid of the denominator on the left-hand side, and then multiply both sides by 9 to get rid of the denominator on the right-hand side. And this will give me 36 is equals to CD squared. When you square root 36, it's supposed to give you plus or minus the square root, plus or minus the square root of 36, which is plus or minus 6. But we are going to choose 6 because we don't have negative angles here. We just require to calculate a positive distance. And that's why we will say that CD is equals to 6 units. And that is it. Done. That is all. Finito. I hope you did. Now, if you do, please try this question out and answer the following questions. Now, if you did, please remember to like and subscribe and share with your friends, all right? Thank you for watching. Kgotso.